Greetings. Our Frederick Riddle here with another episode of Christian News and Views. This is episode 2668, and this is Wednesday. And I'm reporting some news that you all should be. It's probably been all over the TV, radio, newspapers, everywhere. The United States blocks the Straits of Hormuz. Now, we already know that Iran was kind of blocking that themselves and in controlling it. But now the United States has taken an action that is should get their attention. Uh, they have been very, what I think the word would be recalcitrant. Um, they have been very resistant. They have been stubborn. I would even use the word stupid. But let's get into this a little bit. You may have already heard some of this. I picked it up and I found it to be an interesting article, and so I thought I'd share it with you. It goes like this: What to know about the Iran war? There's different points here. Point number one: a U.S. blockade of Iran's ports and a partial blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point for shipments of oil, fertilizer, and other vital goods, began Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Point two: Iran warned it would retaliate if the U.S. carried out the blockade of its ports, saying it would be illegal and essentially piracy. Tehran said no Gulf ports will be safe if traffic to and from its own is impeded. Number three, the threats follow the failure of talks in Islamabad over the weekend to reach a peace agreement between the U.S. and Iran with Pakistani mediators. Vice President J.D. Vance, who headed the U.S. delegation, said the main sticking point came down to Iran refusing to give up its nuclear ambitions. This is an article, by the way, from CBS News, so they're quoting themselves here. CBS News has learned that Pakistan is pushing to get the U.S. and Iran to resume negotiations in an effort to get a peace accord before the current ceasefire runs out next week. So that's the basics here. Uh, and I'm debating in my mind, even as I talk, whether how to, if I want to go further than what I've actually got planned, and I might do that. But here's my opinion. This is an amazing move that, in my opinion, completely undermines the Iranian strategy. They have been claiming the Straits as their territory, which some circles agree, while the U.S. and others claim it is international and illegal to stop innocent ships from using. So I am going to get into this a little bit. And this is there's different laws, international laws, if you will. There's international and then there's territorial. And so what Iran is doing is claiming that the straits are within their territory. Now, whether they say 3 miles or 12 miles or whatever, that has not been, I don't know what the distance there is, but they're claiming the whole straits is theirs. That would, I would assume, is exceed the normal 3 mile zone. But there is legal precedence for what they're claiming, and that's what they're zooming in on. And there are countries that agree with them. On the other hand, the US and others claim it as international waters and therefore illegal to stop what's called innocent ships from using. So both sides are quoting law. What law should be preempt the other one? Well, I'm going to weigh in on it. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know all the legal intricacies of this. I'm just looking at it from a average American viewpoint. The very fact that these waters are used internationally, not just to go to Iran, but to go to other countries to trade or do whatever they're going to do. And these are commercial ships. And they have nothing to do with the ongoing war between the United States, Israel, and Iran. And so that's what they call an innocent ship. They have nothing to do with that action. They are simply carrying on their normal, innocent commercial shipping. And according to the United States and others, they should be allowed to do that because they are innocent ships. If Iran wants to attack U.S. ships, technically they have the, shall we say, not right, we'll say right, but they better be prepared. Because if they attack the United States shipping, guess what? The United States is going to retaliate. Same thing with Israel and any other allied shipping that is going on in there. They can expect if they attack those ships, there's going to be retaliation. And there has been. So you have two different arguments. One, in my opinion, is no one brought it up in the articles I read, but technically speaking, throughout my life, it's been 3 miles that a country can claim. That's international law. Beyond that, some countries like to claim far beyond that. And North Korea is the one that comes to my mind. They, back in the 50s, they extended from 3 miles out to, I believe it was 12. And that was illegal. It was not recognized. And I don't know if they still have that in place or not, but that was illegal then and would still be illegal today. So I think Iran's legal battle or legal claim is somewhat tenuous, somewhat uh, fragile. The United States and others, I think they have a much stronger case because of the commercial aspect of the straits. It's sort of like the Suez Canal. All ships of all nations go through there. And so, for one state, it's true that the canal is controlled. It was used to be controlled by the United States, then we turned it over to Panama, and I think that Panama still has control, but the United States has some say there too, I believe. But in any case, it's international, considered international in shipping in the countries from all over use it. And so when you have that usage involved, it tends to make the waterways that's involved as international. There may be exceptions to this. I don't think the Strait of Hormuz is an exception. It was a vital passageway. Now the other thing is, I don't know if I get into that. I may be. I don't think I don't. I've covered this in the past, so I don't know if I'm going to cover it today, but I am going to cover it right now. I don't have it. I don't think I have it written down here. But the United States and other countries are working on what they call a corridor, which is, my understanding, is land and sea, whereas the strait would be strictly sea, shipping. And so bypassing Iran's, even if Iran was to, we were to cede that control to them, it would eventually cease to be important because everything would be going overland and then to a port and loaded on ships and taken off from there. It would be a tremendous involvement. I don't know how long it would take for them to get this on there. I know they've already been working on it, and so it's well along the way. But how close they are to having that in place, I don't know. But it is something that's interesting to think of. It would be great for Western countries and other countries. It would not be great for Iran. They are getting billions of dollars, maybe trillions of dollars, because of their control of the straits. And no one denies that if they, to some degree, within the limits of the legal agreement, that they can, within those limits, say to go through this, you have to pay a fee. Um, that's a customs fee. So this would change the outcome quite a bit. Another thing that is uh, it, the United States is um, multiplying its shipping of oil. Now, I believe it was since 2000 and 22 or 23, or man, no, I think it was 2020. Since 2020, I believe, the United States putting out shipping of oil from the United States, exporting it from the United States to other countries has multiplied considerably. It's doubled and tripled. It's when Trump was president, he got elected in 2016. He brought that about. The United States, up until then, was dependent upon other countries for oil. He made the United States a exporter of oil. He opened up new lands, and I think he opened up reserves that we had and things of this nature. And the United States went from being a debtor nation, oil-wise, to a credit nation, or one who has uh, actually, I think we became the number one, for very briefly, number one exporter of oil. If not number one, we were in the top tier anyhow. And when Biden got in, that all came to a slow down. But we were still, he didn't shut it down completely. And so the United States was still growing in its oil exporting. Or still now, maybe I shouldn't use the word growing, but it was still much higher than it had ever been before. So there had been some growth. And like I said, I believe prior to Trump coming into office this time, I think it had tripled. Well, now with the war going on, it has multiplied considerably more. And so the United States is once again a world leader in the exporting of oil and oil products. So once again, we are a top exporter. And like I said, he did it in his first um, term. Now, this is exciting and positive news. However, the Iranians have proven that their extremist religious beliefs breeds, and I'll say it, stupidity. They are hurting their own people. I could be wrong about being stupid, though. Maybe they are too brutal to care what happens to their own people. That's a form of stupidity in itself, I think. Now that they no longer have an army or an air force, and their navy is almost non-existent, they are also beginning to feel greater stress, lack of basics, and deprivation. All these things are coming on them because of their intransigence and because of their refusal to bargain in good faith. However, I know one thing's for sure. They have discovered a basic truth. Trump is a different type of president than what they are used to. He really does mean what he says. And so while the negotiations have not been productive yet, they are still going on as far as I know. This could, in the end, bring them not just to the table, but to the realization that they are no longer have the Trump. Well, that play on words. I won't say that. They no longer have the edge. They no longer have the. Uh, I don't know any other word to say it. The Trump card. They don't have the ability to control the narrative anymore. They're fast losing it. And I don't know how if that new quarter is going to be weeks away, days away, weeks away, months away, or years away. The very fact that they're working on it and developing it, developing their plans, they may even have spades in the ground already. The Iranians are not stupid, folks. And when they see that going on, they have to see that they're not only are they look around and they can see the destruction of their land and their business, their economy and everything, but now the source of their economy, the shipping of oil, there's a blockade on that. Or that blockade that Trump put in place has stopped that. Um, and what was it? Something like 54 ships that the United States has already. This was as of yesterday. Uh, 54 ships that the United States had already stopped, and so the control has shifted considerably. That was their big card. That was their big play. As long as they could control that, well, they could control the narrative. Now, I mentioned previously this week that they are thinking of extending their control to another place. Well, if we can control the straits here, we might just send some ships over there and stop that one too. They have ports, but if they don't have the ability to take their stuff from their ports to other places, they have nothing. And that's their source of income, folks. They do have underground, the pipeline, the gas pipelines that go to different countries. They do have that, but that can be blocked too. So what I'm saying, they're in a stranglehold. Should be like this, right? They're in a stranglehold, and it's getting tighter. And the Iranians are discovering what many of us already knew. Other countries are watching and learning themselves. Trump is a different type of person. He doesn't worry about whether the people back here at home approve or disapprove. He knows what needs to be done, and he's going to do it, even though, well, actually, he can't. He won't lose the office. He'll term out. But the thing is that he knows that this is necessary, not just because Iran is a cruel country and exports terrorism, but the United States is what Trump is concerned about. He loves the United States. He loves America. And he will do whatever he has to do to protect America. And there are a lot of countries out there who still don't understand that. They're based, and everything is in diplomacy. And after Trump is off the scene, there will be pressures to bring it back to diplomacy. I'm going to say right here now, I don't think diplomacy actually works. Not to bring peace. It does work, but for the wrong thing. It works for those who want to achieve evil. But it just takes a little bit of time, and they're willing to they have the patience and the will to wait. And they chip away through diplomacy. They chip away here and they chip away there, and we keep backing off and keep losing ground. But when Trump got in the first time and now in the second time, he is saying no more. We are America, and you don't touch America. And so Iran's learning this the hard way, and it can get harder. We're watching it right now. That stranglehold that is now on their necks is getting tighter by the minute. And the people of Iran are suffering. We have nothing against the people of Iran. And we would like to see them rise up. But on the same hand, I don't know about other people, but I see that they are fearful, because what happens is this regime, its guard, is very cruel, and last January they demonstrated that thousands of people have been imprisoned and some and hundreds, maybe thousands killed, and say they are ruthless. And with things going on with their government, they're collapsing and all that, they are given more and more of a free hand. And so, yeah, the Iranian people are fearful, but it would be good if they could rise up and take back their government. It would bring peace, almost instant peace. And so that is something that we can pray about. But just remember this, folks, that sometime in the future, um, Iran will probably join up with Russia when Russia invades Israel. Don't know when that's going to be. I just don't think it's now. But we are seeing a preview, if you will, of what can happen when those countries, now they're somewhat united, but I think Iran has learned that Russia is not all that reliable. China's in the picture, but they are stymied a little bit. But there's going to come a day when they're going to be able to unite their forces and come against Israel. Well, that's it, my take on today's news. I hope it's giving you something to chew on and think about. You don't have to agree with me. If you have another thought, hey, post it. I'll read it. It may even show up on this podcast, or I might answer it right then or then and then. But the thing is, these are things we need to consider and talk about. Don't let the media tell you what to think. Use your own brain and look at the facts, and then you come to a conclusion. You're a Christian, you know how to use your brain. If you're a Christian, you have the Word of God. If you're a Christian, you have the Holy Spirit indwelling you. You have all the reasons to be able to look at this and come to what I would call the correct understanding what's going on. You have a great day, and remember this: TNR Independent Books is a Christian indie publisher. We are looking for Christians who want to become writers or are writers and are looking for a publisher. Just go to trbookservices.com, go to our bookstore and into our writing department, and you will discover we have some things there for you. And we are right now in our spring discount, 26% off. Well, you have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode.